The Dacian Wars, a clash of empires and cultures. The Dacian Wars, 101-102 CE and 105-106 CE, were a brutal series of conflicts between the Roman Empire and the Dacian Kingdom, located in what is now modern Romania. These wars were fought during the reign of Emperor Trajan, one of Rome's most ambitious and military-driven leaders. These conflicts ultimately reshaped the region's history, left a dark legacy of conquest and destruction, and marked the height of Roman expansion. The Dacians were a proud and resilient people, skilled in warfare and known for their distinctive curved swords called falx. They lived in the mountainous regions of the Carpathians and were led by their formidable king, Decebalus, a shrewd tactician and charismatic leader. The Dacians had long resisted Roman control and, in some cases, humiliated the empire. Their ability to defend their homeland in the face of overwhelming odds frustrated Rome for decades. The tensions between the two powers boiled over during the rule of Emperor Domitian, who was forced to conclude a humiliating peace treaty with Decebalus in 89 CE. Under this treaty, the Dacians received subsidies and military engineers from Rome, an insult to Roman pride that Trajan vowed to erase. When Trajan became emperor in 98 CE, he sought to restore Roman dominance. In 101 CE, Trajan launched his first campaign against Decebalus with a vast, disciplined army. The Dacians had the advantage of knowing the rugged terrain, and they used guerrilla tactics to harass Roman forces. The decisive moment of the First War came at the Battle of Tapae in 101 CE, fought in the heart of the Carpathian Mountains. The Romans faced fierce resistance from Dacian warriors armed with falx weapons capable of slicing through Roman armor. The fighting was savage and costly for both sides, with the ground soaked in blood. Despite the Dacians' ferocity, the Romans ultimately prevailed. Trajan's forces then marched toward the Dacian capital, Sarmizegetusa Regia, but a harsh winter and stiff Dacian resistance halted their progress. By 102 CE, the war ended with a temporary peace. Decebalus was forced to surrender territory, demolish fortifications, and cease his hostile actions against Rome. However, this peace was only a pause in the conflict. Decebalus, never content with submission, rebuilt his forces and began defying the terms of the peace treaty. Trajan, enraged by the betrayal, prepared for a second war. This time, Rome sought nothing less than the complete destruction of the Dacian kingdom. The second campaign saw the Romans unleash an unprecedented level of engineering and military might. Trajan ordered the construction of the Trajan's Bridge over the Danube River, an engineering marvel that allowed his legions to move vast numbers of troops and supplies into Dacia with ease. The Romans also built extensive siege equipment to breach Dacian strongholds. The climax of the war came in 106 CE with the siege of Sarmizegetusa Regia, Decebalus's mountain fortress. Surrounded and outmatched, the Dacians fought with desperate courage, but Roman siege engines and disciplined troops proved unstoppable. The fortress fell after prolonged fighting, its walls reduced to rubble. Decebalus fled into the wilderness, pursued relentlessly by Roman forces. Rather than face capture and humiliation, the Dacian king committed suicide by slitting his throat. His severed head was sent to Rome as a gruesome trophy. The defeat of the Dacians marked the end of their independence and the beginning of their subjugation under Roman rule. The Romans annexed Dacia, transforming it into a province rich in gold and resources. To symbolize his victory, Trajan built the Trajan's Column in Rome, a towering monument depicting scenes from the wars in graphic detail, brutal battles, massacres, and the desolation of Dacian lands. The Dacian Wars were a dark chapter in history for the conquered people. Entire villages were destroyed, and survivors were enslaved or assimilated into the Roman Empire. Dacia's cultural identity was forever altered as Roman settlers moved into the region, bringing Latin language and customs. For Rome, the wars were a resounding success, solidifying Trajan's reputation as one of its greatest emperors. Dacia's resources enriched the empire, funding construction projects and campaigns elsewhere. However, the victory came at a high cost. Roman legions suffered heavy losses, and the wars exposed the vulnerability of Rome's borders. For the Dacians, the wars represented the tragic fall of a once proud people. Their story became a cautionary tale of resistance against a superpower. Although Dacia was absorbed into the Roman Empire, the memory of their courage and defiance endures. The Dacian Wars were not merely a clash of armies, but a collision of worlds. Rome's insatiable hunger for conquest versus the Dacians' desperate fight for survival. The wars left a trail of blood and ashes, with one side emerging triumphant and the other consigned to history. The Dacian spirit, though crushed militarily, lives on as a reminder of the cost of empire and the resilience of the human will to resist oppression.